Assalamu alaikum. Dear all students, hope you all are well by the grace of Almighty. On behalf of Milestone College, you all are welcome online class. Here I am, Kaji Fatima Jahan, lecturer, Department of Biology, Milestone College, with all of you on today's class. Today we will discuss the 11th chapter of biology. The name of this chapter is Reproduction in Organism. This is the part 1 of this chapter. At the beginning, I would like to talk about the learning objectives of today's class. Dear student, after completing today's class, you all will be able to explain plant reproduction and also can explain some terms of plant reproduction. Describe function of flower as a reproductive organ. Can describe the inflorescence. Explain pollination and its types and can describe the medium of pollination. So, dear student, let's start our today's class. Reproduction is a basic characteristics of living organisms. Organisms give rise to other organisms of the same kind in lifetime and then continues its generation. The process of reproduction may be of various types. The process through which organisms produce their offspring is called reproduction. Reproduction is of two types, such as asexual and sexual. Generally, in lower organisms, sexual reproduction does not occur, but some lower organisms reproduce sexually. Most of the higher plants and all higher animals produce their offspring through sexual reproduction. If reproduction did not occur in organisms, they would be extinct. Flower, reproductive organ of plants. A flower is a special type of modified shoot for reproduction. A flower is a reproductive organ of a higher plant. The flowers which have 5 holes are called complete flowers. If a flower lacks any of the 5 holes, it is called an incomplete flower. When both the androecium and the gynoecium are present in a flower, it is called a bisexual flower. If any of the holes, androecium or gynoecium, is absent, this flower is called unisexual flower. Different parts of a flower. There are 5 different parts of a flower: thalamus, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Here you can see a photographic image of flower. Here you can see the different parts of flower very clearly. Thalamus. This is usually round and is developed at the tip of a floral axis. The other parts or holes of a flower are arrayed consecutively on the floral axis one after another. Floral axis holds up the flower attractively. Student, you can see the thalamus part of this photographic image. Calyx. The outermost hole of a flower is called calyx. Each of the part of calyx is called a sepal. Their main functions is to save the inner parts of a flower from the sun, rain and attack of insects and pests. The green calyx takes part in the production of food. You can see this type of calyx from first 2 image. When the calyx is of different colors, it plays important roles in pollination. You can see this type of calyx from 3rd image. Corolla. It is the outermost hole of a flower. If the corolla is segmented, each segment is then called a petal. Corolla are usually looks colorful. They protect the internal parts of a flower from the sun and rain. Bright, colorful corolla attracts animals, birds, insects, etc. and helps in pollination. Androecium. It is an essential role of a flower. Every part of an androecium is called stamen. In an androecium, there may be one or more stamens. The stalk-like structure of stamen is called the filament, and the sac-like apical structure of it is called the anther. The part of a stamen which connects the anther to the filament is called connective. Pollens are developed in an anther. A pollen tube is produced from a pollen after germination. Thus, male gamete is produced in the pollen tube. The male gametes directly take part in reproduction. In some plants, the filaments may be connected to each other. Sometimes, the anthers may combine with each other. When the stamens merge together with all the filaments into a tube-like group, it is called monadelphous. If the filaments are attached with two groups, it is called diadelphous. If the filaments are attached with many groups, it is called polydelphous. When anthers are united into a single group, it is called syngensious. The state of being of the stamen free attachment to corolla, the androecium, is called epipetalous. Now, gynoecium. The portion of gynoecium is at the center of a flower. It is the another essential role of a flower. A gynoecium may be structured with one or more carpels. A carpel has three parts, such as ovary, style, and stigma. When a gynoecium is formed with many more carpels which are completely merged with each other, then it is called syncarpous, and when they are separated, it is called polycarpous. One or more ovules are there in a flower arranged inside of an ovary. Within the ovule, female reproductive cell ovum is produced. This ovum, like an androecium, directly involved in the process of reproduction. Now we'll know about inflorescence. The cluster of flowers arranged in a small branch of a tree following some special orders of arrangement is called inflorescence. Along with the flowers, the branch of a tree is called inflorescence. It is called peduncle on which flowers are orderly arranged. If the growth of this axis is unlimited, it is called indefinite inflorescence. And in case of limited growth of the axis, it is called definite inflorescence. And inflorescence plays important roles in the process pollination. Here you can see the photographic image of inflorescence system. Now, pollination. Pollination is also called the linking of pollens. Pollination is a precondition for the development of fruits and seeds. The transfer of pollens from the anther to the stigma of the same flower or to the stigma of another plant of the same species is called pollination. Pollination is of two types, such as self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination. On the same flower or on two flowers of the same plant, transfer of pollen can occur. It is called self-pollination. For example, brassica and cucumber usually pollinate through this way. In self-pollination, wastage of pollen is less, and does not depend on a carrier for pollination, and the occurrence of pollination is ensured. The plant that develops in this way of pollination cannot make changes to their characters, and so the features of the species can be maintained. This way, a species can maintain purity. No new characters appear in the new generation of plants. The newly born plants breed seeds with less vigor. The ability of adaptation in the new plant is reduced, which means this species can be extinct. Now, cross-pollination. When the attachment of pollen occurs in between two distinct flowers of the same species, it is called cross-pollination, such as Salmalia malabarica, which is the scientific name of cotton tree, and Carica papaya, which is the scientific name of papayas, pollinate this way. In cross-pollination, new characters emerged. The rate of germination goes up and much more vigorous seeds are produced through this way of pollination. So, the new species is ordained to pass its life on earth. The plant which grows from that seed also has new characters. This is why new varieties of these plants emerge. As it is a carrier-dependent process, pollination may not be ensured, and large waste of pollen is a consequence of this type of pollination. So, the purity of the species is impaired. Medium of pollination. In most of the cases, a medium accomplishes the transfer of pollen. The carrier which carries pollen is called the pollen carrier. Air, water, insects and flies, birds, vampires, snails, and even humans may be the media of pollination. To consume nectar from a flower or after attraction to the charming color of the flower, the carriers travel from one flower to another. When the carrier sits on the flower, the pollen attaches to it. To obtain the aid of the character, some plant adaptations are remarkable. Fly-pollinated flowers are big in size with colored nectar-secreting glands. In this flower, fragrance of wet fluid is very much alluring. For example, Chinese hibiscus, squashes, turnips, etc. do pollination this way. Air-pollinated flowers are lightweight and do not have nectar-secreting glands. No fragrance is with the flower and can easily wander in the air. Their stigmas are sticky, form a structure like a feather-branched wheel to attain pollens from the air. Water-pollinated plants are small and lightweight, so that they can float in the water. No fragrance is with them. The petiole in the female flower is long but short than that of male. Mature male flowers, being detached from the petioles, float in the water, and after coming in contact with the female flowers, they immediately accomplish pollination. Animal pollinated flowers are usually large in size. If they are small, they are arranged in the inflorescence. They have attractive colors. Fragrance may be present or absent in them, such as kodam, cotton tree, and taro are animal pollinated. Dear all students, we are going to finish our today's class. Before that, there are two homework for you. They are: briefly describe the different parts of flower and write down differences between self-pollination and cross-pollination. Dear students, I hope all of you understand our today's lesson. If you have any problem, please contact with your subject teacher and make it clear. And of course, complete your homework and submit to your subject teacher. That's the end of our today's class. Thanks to all. Stay safe. Allah Hafiz.